Mena, did you watch the funeral of the Pope?
Oh, bro.
Yeah, I did.
I was following it.
I did.
Is it like they rehearse it
Charlie?
like every other day, during the lifetime of the Pope, so that when it happens, they just move everything
Yes,
into
they
place?
prepare for it.
Yeah, it's like so seamless.
Yeah, man.
The transitions on point.
Charlie.
TV production super.
Charlie.
Oh my word! I mean, it tells you that preparation counts. They did not take anything for granted. Everything was on point.
So many lessons there.
Yeah.
Institutional memory, tradition, history, predictability, all of those things come into play.
Excellence.
And of course, exemplary leadership of the Pope himself. And then the whole process of choosing a successor. So I think it was a fantastic spectacle to behold. And of course, the man himself, the caliber of people he attracted at his funeral, says a lot about the kind of leader he is. Because you can be a pope who decides to do some things, but he was more unifying. He was very, forward-looking kind of pope from Argentina, from a third world country. Therefore, also has a lot of legitimacy with the global South. I think he was a great ambassador. Yeah. Whoever takes over has a big act to follow, because when you succeed a charismatic man who's so loved, you have to find your own space. I think it's one of the problems Ratzinger faced, because when you took over from Pope John Paul II from Poland, he was also quite extraordinarily charismatic. So Ratzinger was a bit old when he took over. So it's going to be an interesting situation to see who takes over. Again, because global leadership is now very personalized. Don't forget, we are back in an era of personalized leadership. So from Reagan, Thatcher, now we are back to Trump, Xi Jinping. So it's basically, even Ghana, I mean, you can say for many years we're thinking about building strong institutions, but now the emphasis on the man, who's the leader, who's the president. So if you look at even the way our leaders on the continent are depicted, so the Burkina Faso, they show the president, Ghana, Mahama. So it's more about the person and what he brings to the table. And for that particular reason, I think we should study the conclave very closely to see the personality that will take over. Because Sky, don't forget, personality is important in leadership. See, I'll give you an example. What just happened in football? All right, and I know you don't want me to go there, but I'll go there briefly.
No, you've been looking for a chance.
No. Give me 2 points. You see, I am of the firm view that
transitions are important.
Not even that. The person who leads is sometimes even more important than the organization he leads. Let me give you one example. And Godfrey, don't take this in the wrong way. Alex Ferguson, he was appointed Man U boss in the 1986. For 4 years, he didn't win anything. In fact, the year he won the first trophy was, I think, the last year Liverpool won the league. At the time, they were contemplating sacking him. And then he won a cup. I think so. And they said, let's give him another chance. Sky, when Alex Ferguson came to Man U in 1986 or so, 18, whatever, Man U had won only 7 league titles. And Liverpool had won 18. What's the difference between 18 and 7? That's 9. By the time Alex Ferguson was finished in 2013, Man U had won 20 league titles. Liverpool stayed at 18. Now, since Alex Ferguson left, Man U hasn't won any league title. Now, is it about the institution or the person? So I feel like sometimes we make it look. I think that the person who leads is very critical. So just I was talking about the Pope. When you listen to him, when you see his demeanor, when you see the way he talks, the Catholic Church is a strong institution.
Powerful.
Right? The Catholic Church will be there, but the man brought something to the church because of who he is. Benedict, and then now Francis. His character, his charisma. And look at Liverpool. Klopp, he came. And in 6 years, he won the league once. He prepared a good succession. Look at Slot, he's won again. It's the person. So I think that we need to balance that carefully in Africa and not just buy hook, line, and sinker this idea that we just need strong institutions. Because you need noble men, strong people. You know what I'm saying? You need a certain personality. You need it. So Man U has Alex Ferguson. They will never get one. I mean, the institution is still there, but since the man left, the thing is not working. So how do you look at the United situation and say, is there a strong institution? It's not. It's the man. You can even say Chelsea when Abramovich, since he left, it's become a problem because Abramovich brought a certain personal touch. Like the day ACN did his foundation in Accra, Abramovich sent a message. I was at the program. I said, wow. You'd have thought you'd be on his yacht somewhere. He sent a personal message to support his. And I mean, ACN is just a good player. So it tells you that the personality and the personal touch the leader brings is critical. And I think in a certain development stage, we should not underemphasize or de-emphasize personality in leadership. It's very critical. It's very, very, very critical. Right. You know, in fact, you could even stretch that to the discussions in MPP, but I won't go there yet. Okay. Because if you look at even the whole discussion about what went wrong and how the party is trying to amend itself, you know, when you have a strong personality like Akufo-Addo leading a party, it's like Rawlings. When you have a strong person in an organization, his absence always creates a problem. And your association with the person is good or bad, for good or bad. If the person is not there, you feel it. You know, so those who are discussing leadership theories, I want to give you 3 case studies: the Man U, the Liverpool, the Pope, and MPP. They are all strong case studies you can study. Four case studies for you.
The only difficulty with the Liverpool thing, do we have enough pattern to argue that it's a case study worthy of examining?
Well, what I'll say, 2 things. Klopp obviously brought hope to the team, and the way he changed his style of his personal touch influenced the mood of the place. Because look, the kind of football they were playing with the guy who he took over from wasn't that bad. That was Brendan Rodgers. But Klopp's personality is charismatic. He had some track record, and he
as a player.
He technically was also pretty good, but his personality shone through. What Klopp has done though is that in his leaving, he sort of got a successor or helped get a successor, or he basically laid the foundation for a successor who would not deviate too much from the path he set. I think United's problem was that Ferguson became so big. I think the best person to have replaced Ferguson would have been Mourinho. You get it? Because the size of the man who took over from him was too small compared to who he was. Because if you listen to Ferguson for 6 years as David a player, and David Moyes is talking to you, you say, but this guy was his problem. Do you get it? But if they had brought a certain Mourinho right after Ferguson, he is also a strong personality. You get it? And if you look at Slot, he's a technical coach, just like Klopp. He's not as charismatic. But he decides that I don't need to reinvent the wheel. This is the team Klopp has built. Let me just tweak a few things. So I think it's a better model.
The only reason I raise the issue is that, you know, if you look at the Man U situation as a case study, you can talk about transition period that has seen 5 managers. 6, right? Yes. So then, on the basis of that, you can properly account for what may or what may not have been. You understand? But in the case of Liverpool, Klopp left just this year, right? Or was it last year?
Let me give you a statistic. Since Klopp came to Liverpool, Manchester have had 5 coaches. So Klopp came in 2015, 2016. Man U have had what was the name of the guy? Moyes. Then they had who came from Mourinho.
The Dutchman also came.
Ragnick.
Ole
Gunnar, Ten Hag. You get it. So Klopp also built like a 9-year dynasty. But I'm saying that in replacing him, they sort of analyzed him better and replaced him with a more like for like.
Most likely learn from the lessons.
Yes.
That what they call it, Man United learned themselves.
So I think we need to focus on developing leaders. And great leaders build great institutions. I think the institution of Liverpool has been built by Klopp. It's not just his personality. I think what happened in Man U's case was that Alex Ferguson's personality was so strong that even though the institution was not that solid, they were able to get away with it. I'll give you an example. Alex Ferguson as a person, he took on the whole BBC and said the BBC was too biased for Liverpool because at the time almost all the pundits were Liverpool players, Alan Hansen, and all these guys. And Sky, for like 10 years, Man U didn't talk to the BBC. It's like saying Kotoko coach will not speak to GBC.
And he got away with it.
You can't do anything to him. Now, such a personality is as strong as... So then maybe the club took many things for granted. They didn't build proper succession. They didn't build stronger. So when Ronaldo gave an interview when he left Man U the second time about the kinds of things you see in United for a club of its size, So I'm saying that when a personality is that strong, it gives you certain advantages. He's able to do Fergie time. He's intimidating referees. Okay, he's not spending that much money, but players are doing well because he has an eye for. If the institution does not, so maybe Alex Ferguson is not an institution builder. He's more a team builder that makes the team win many times. But the institution of United, their system of governance, their whatever they do, all those things he was. So maybe you need to now think of getting a coach who can manage a team, but also put in place structures that when he's not there. So I think in that sense, Klopp won the title only once. Won the Champions League once, won everything once. But his successor won the title in his first season. Now, I was watching some ranking. Globally, the top 4 ranked teams in terms of market value. Real Madrid, I think 6 billion. Barca, about 5 billion. Man U, 4.8. Liverpool, 4.6. Those are the top 4 teams in the world by how the market values them. Right? But I think Liverpool is a better model. I'll give you another example. If you take what they call net spend. If somebody else invests in a business, you look at not just how much you make, but how much you spend in making how much you make. United's net spend is excess of $1 billion.
Wow.
Liverpool is about 400
US dollars.
because they sell as much as they buy. Man U doesn't have players they sell for any proper value. So even as a business, Liverpool is a better run institution than Man U. Of course, United is a more popular brand globally. But we have a lot of lessons to learn. I think that the way Klopp has transitioned, brought in slots, and the team is still financially healthy. And now everybody's talking about Liverpool. It's a great, and I think we all should learn from it. That you can be a great leader if you don't build the institution to a point where it can outlive you, you failed. Which is why he can't talk this morning. He just isn't there looking at me because the United experiment has failed. The United experiment has failed.
Salvation is key.
Oh, bro.
But besides that, I also wanted to add, I raised the other one, but second one, Bernard.
Yes.
I've been following some of the confirmations of MCs.
Okay.
Some of them have been pretty bloody.
Yes.
As always.
Yes.
And we need to figure out why it gets to the point, and a lot of it has to do with we want an indigene or this. I saw a video where one person who is I think the presiding member of one assembly, but if you see the beatings this human being has been given, yes, at the confirmation of an MC.
Oh, how?
But are you bringing that in on the leadership point, or you just
on the leadership point?
You don't want to comment on football?
No, salvation.
Oh, stop that.
But the point I want to
I've given you Pope Francis. I've given you MPP. I've given you Liverpool and Man U. You still don't want to comment?
I want to comment on the point of leadership and the lack of it, Bernard. I think that we are very happy and all, but the government needs to wake up to the current state of the city we live in, and I'm sure other places too might come. Bernard, look, I don't know about you, but Accra is in a very shameful state right now, and I want to use strong words this morning. Perhaps that is what will get some action. Bernard.
But you reckon that action can only come from the president, because the way the system has been set up, the mayor doesn't have that much power, neither does the regional minister.
Bernard, you see,
so the kind of situation we have created, until the president decides to say he wants, he needs to say we need to reclaim our capital to make it fit for purpose again.
Then we should shut down the country.
No, he needs to lead. He needs to say, I'm telling you, he needs to say, I think the capital is a disgrace, and I'm going to do something about it.
Why should he take the leader?
Then this
based on what I just said in the past 10 minutes.
Then have a minister.
Because who is the mayor? Who is the MC for Accra? You don't even know his name.
Michael.
Isn't that shameful? You do know his name? What's the name of the former mayor of Accra?
Elizabeth.
See, where we have reached, you need leadership drive.
No, Bernard, hold on.
I'm telling you.
Where we have reached, we need an urgent cleanup
of the city.
To be led by who?
No, it doesn't matter.
Everything, you need a leader.
At this moment,
Bakpo is not the guy to do that way. He hasn't even confirmed.
I don't even think I care.
But Godfrey, what's the problem? I want to know. Where are you talking about?
I'm not talking about you. What do you mean by where am I talking about? Everywhere.
I want you to highlight that thing.
No, everywhere. Bernard, gutters are choked.
Yeah.
People, as usual, people are doing number 2 in town.
The president has to declare something.
Look,
I'm telling you, he has to make a declaration. Otherwise, nobody will follow.
We are a few steps away, if we are not careful, from a massive cholera epidemic. We've had bits of it.
Yeah.
But we are very, very, very close to a massive occurrence of cholera in this Accra. If we are not careful, the city is very,
the president's
it's
people,
shameful.
the president's people must put
It's shameful.
must put the state of Accra on his agenda and encourage him to lead a certain drive, after which others will follow. I'm telling you, the way Ghana works today, if the president gets up and says, "Look, I'm launching, let's make Accra something, and then he does it like for a week. I'm telling you, the mayor cannot do anything. He has only 3 constituencies. The regional minister can't do much.
You see, because for me,
Where we've reached in Ghana today, if the president does not attach his personal interest in the thing, it won't go anywhere.
because
That's where we are.
Hold on, but
that's where we are.
That's a key word for
That's
me.
where we are.
Interest. Accra looks like a city in which leadership has no interest.
Yeah.
At the moment. And it's sad. And I don't understand whether the people who are leading us right now don't feel
Let me give you an example.
a point of the city that
I
when
used-
do they drive through Accra?
I went to Spintex. I went to Spintex and I was coming towards Palace Mall. So I decided to use a road near Manette.
Yeah.
That takes you to Palace Mall.
Correct.
It was at night. Sky. For beautiful road. No street markings.
Nothing.
No street light.
Nothing.
If you drive on that road, you can crash into anything and die easily. You get it. And this is one of the most expensive areas in Accra.
The median overgrown.
Now, any reasonable person from outside who drives there will say this: the people in this country, either they are cats, as in they can see at night and drive in darkness, or they are wicked.
Daddy.
I don't understand how. And this is one of the prime roads. So
Yeah.
it takes you from Manette all the way to. There was no street marking.
Yeah.
There was no street light.
Yeah.
There was nothing. You are just driving on it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, and Bernard, where
Nothing.
Godfred has
Now,
been
and we are not
complaining
talking about debt. We are talking about even what we have spent money to build.
Yeah.
So if there is no leadership agency, and I'm saying that in Ghana today, the only person are probably 2 people: the president and the Speaker of Parliament. In my view, the Speaker of Parliament has also been quite strong in his leadership in the parliamentary space. The only person who says something that hey, let's do and people do is the president. If the president doesn't make Accra a priority, things will not improve. The minister can't do anything. The mayor's put there, Charlie.
So then why? You know?
It's not working.
I'm saying that
When they put you in charge, Bernard, you take charge.
They
You
can't-
don't wait for the president.
they
to
can't do anything.
Bernard, the point
They are all looking over their shoulders
over what?
because of the system we've built. Patronage, they are afraid. If
So then you
so
should
let's assume I'm a mayor and I want to cancel some contract. I don't know whose ox I'm going to go. I don't know whose. So if you don't have the backing of number 1, they call him number 1. So number 1 has to say, I'm telling you,
Then this is not a system. Then
that's the system we have.
no, it's not a system.
If the president doesn't take personal interest in the state of Accra, nothing will change.
Bernard, I just wanted to draw your attention to a situation that Godfred has been complaining about for a long time. I drove past the side where Henry Kote Kleda Agbogloshi plays.
Oh.
No, it's
Back in all
deteriorating.
his glory.
Oh man,
In all his glory.
it's
In all
terrible.
his pre-Henry Quarter glory.
It is terrible, and to see that,
Yeah.
to see that you have onions right on the streets again.
Yeah.
Traffic is building up.
Yeah.
Filth has taken over the place
Yeah.
that was cleared.
Yeah.
It's a very, very sad story.
Yeah.
And you know the drain that connects that side towards back around ICGC towards the sea,
Yeah.
coming in all the way from Kaneshi, it connects to
Yeah.
somewhere Nima. You know there's a contract that has been signed. You know a contractor has been given that project.
I know.
And that work is not ongoing.
But don't forget that last month, the
Yes.
president and his
You went there.
people in the
Anti-flag.
they physically went to a
Still,
place
nothing is happening.
to say that so Sky, think about
So
it.
what you are even saying?
The
Still,
president of
nothing
a
is
country
happening.
went with his people to a place to order a company to stop.
Still.
But it just goes back that if they don't follow up, nothing will happen. So
But how can a presidential order be defied willy-nilly like that?
because it has to be enforced.
So who is in charge of the Greater Accra region?
Sky,
When the president
we are the
Bernard,
leadership
hold on, let me
problem.
say this.
People are not doing their work.
You see, when the president moves to a
capital.
place
Yeah,
It is.
and has cause to give an order,
yeah,
you give effect to it. even if it requires going to court. In this case,
Yeah.
they say that they have to demolish something.
Yeah.
If you are going to interfere with somebody's property, if you require a court order to do it,
They should do
it
it.
is the job of the appropriate institution
To follow up.
to follow up. But you don't go take the president there.
So what we can do is to find the appropriate person and call them out. That's our work. To say, okay, the president has made an order. Who is supposed to follow through? That's what we're supposed to do. It's 8 o'clock. Let me bring it and show me that trend.
Can I just say a
Go
little
ahead.
bit about this discussion? I've
Go
been
ahead.
listening
Go ahead.
intensely. I don't say two things. I think concerning Manchester United,
Yes,
the
please.
problem was that Ferguson himself was the institution, like you said.
Correct.
So because he's the institution, the structures that needed to give the new manager the chance to succeed, he didn't have the charisma.
He left with it.
Yeah, he left with it. So that was the main problem. And about this leadership thing you are talking about, where the president, honestly, why do you employ people if the president has to come and say it for it to be done?
Because
I think
all
I'll-
power in Ghana is vested in the president.
I understand. I understand that part, but it's very embarrassing. Because why are we giving people jobs if the president has to come and tell you to do the most basic of things?
unless we appoint certain personality types who can take the bull by the horns. So there are some leaders who, when you appoint, they are able to harness the power and use it well. A lot of people we are appointing as MCs don't have that.
Yes.
They can't do it.
No, but Bernard, for
I'm telling you,
me,
they can't.
when it comes to the capital, we understand that MCs have not been confirmed and whatnot. I don't get the paralysis of the city. The city looks paralyzed. The city does not look like, and this is the center of power.
Your
But it
coordinating
does not
directors
look
are all
like
afraid.
it does not look
It
like a
feels
city
everywhere.
that has human beings who live in it,
Who run it?
who run it.
Your coordinating directors are there.
Bernard, it's
There's a local
Bernard,
government minister in
everywhere.
office.
The coordinating directors are also there.
Everywhere is filthy.
Bernard, I'm not taking out any part of Accra as we speak this morning.
Leadership.
And
leadership.
it
leadership.
should be, you see, again, I'm emphasizing, a capital city is reflective of
The values.
the values of the country.
Maybe you should start taking photos and sharing.
It won't do anything, Bernard. The people who have been employed to do the work should pay attention small.
Let's bring tech and show me that trend. Yes,
Seriously,
last
I
point.
literally drove out of my house this morning. There was filth all over the road. Literally, like just drove out, and there was, I don't even know where it came from.
What we
Like,
also need
it's
to
just-
mention,
Yeah.
in addition to
Yeah.
that, is that
Yeah.
the last few days
Yeah.
we've had a battle raging over whether Zoom Lions contract with the assembly should be renewed or not.
Probably that's also part.
The local government committee,
Yeah.
or the committee responsible
par-
for
in
sanitation,
Parliament.
apparently they had gone to see Zoom Lion and they had made some comments about the need for payments to be made and some contracts to be,
Maybe that's part.
Exactly. And it would seem that it's become back and forth. Basin Tale, who is in charge of Ye,
Yeah.
has also been quoted as giving
Yeah.
some promises
Yeah.
that if the thing is so bad, he's not going to renew it. And there's so much.
That's a very interesting.
trouble
So
in
maybe
the
that's
space.
part of the reason why the refuse has not been collected. We don't know. Thank you for that. We'll probably explore that as well. So the problem is United. The problem is the thing there called United.
We have to put culpability where
They have to go. They need holy water. To go and sprinkle it. You know how they do it. Like the new pope. He must go and put. They go to, exactly. Then you.
What just happened?
You don't know when you go to Catholic church and they want.
It's a serious.
They will take the thing and put it in the water and they will sprinkle holy water on the people. So they need to do holy water on you. The team Master, read the messages for me.
Okay, hello Bernard. Good morning. Kindly ask the roads minister if there are plans to expand the tunnel on the Boteman Road. The traffic is becoming unbearable. Thank you, Ebenezer Tunnel. Send that through. Good morning. Please, who is in charge of clearing the beggars from our streets? Now it's too much. Come and look at what's happening at Circle. It's an eyesore. Good man. Send that through. Hello Bernard and team.
Hello.
Thank you for bringing up this very sorry state of Accra, which has been giving me heartache and mental stress. Why are people employed in the areas of sanitation and city planning if they cannot work and be effective? And why can we not hold them accountable? Dora, send her through. Jimmy Jack from Desmond says, was the Greater Accra Regional Minister vetted at all? You see? Bernard, okay. This one is once Godfred to...
She was vetted.
Okay.
She was vetted.
That was like some 1 minute, yeah. Just saying. Right, Kofi from Kaswa says the Malam interchange is deteriorating. Lots of debris and sand, exposed expansion gap metals, large expansion joint gaps, slowing everyone down. And the road surfaces are really bad as well. Also, the road from McCarthy traffic light towards McCarthy Junction and the opposite direction is very bad. Urgent attention is needed. Attention is needed, please. Kofi from Kaswa Bernard. This is very true, and I can reinforce this because I've lived on that stretch before.
McCarthy
if you're
Hill.
coming from McCarthy Hill, from the traffic light towards Malam Junction, the road itself is in very bad shape. It's same for when you are coming from the Malam interchange towards the traffic light, and then on the interchange itself, the overhead, they did some asphaltic works there, and then left the expansion joints, so that metal you have in between, so that when the sun is during high temperatures it expands, and it really slows down traffic. And you know that stretch leads to Kaswa, and there's often a lot of traffic on that stretch. We've talked about this for a long time, but nothing seems to be done about it. Anyway, Bernard, we are rightfully concerned about Accra and its filth, but the level of filth in the northern parts of Ghana, if cholera hits them, it would be devastating. Wow. Bernard, Godfred is very right on the state of the capital. The filth in this town is very embarrassing. An example is the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. It's so filthy, it is unbelievable. I wish your cameras can go around to take pictures. Cameras?
Last week, circle.
Too many.
The circle that they used to call Dubai. They should go and call it Dubai.
What's wrong with
You
that?
go there.
Our supporters.
It's terrible.
Bernard,
It's terrible.
What's
I went
happening?
through circle last week.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Under, you pass under.
Bernard. Hey!
That's where our supporters are surviving. So
Which supporters?
Okay.
Continue with your messages.
Right. It's a cause and effect situation. Leadership is cause, all others is effect. Mindset must be shaped by leaders. Nicholas Ampo Ashalibotre. Bernard, I agree with Godfrey. We need an urgent cleaning of Accra. The silting of drains, cleaning of roads, all the silt along the roads running into the drains. The National Sanitation Day must be enforced. Friday for a cleanup exercise. The day must be on Saturdays. We clean the whole street and then we collect everything. Halt all social activities and movements to ensure the environment is clean and maintained on the day. Let us make Ghana clean again. David from Adenta. When it comes to filth, one question I always ask myself is why would you intentionally make your environment dirty with the mindset that someone else will come and clean it? I just don't get it. Accra Mall is a shame, not a tourist site any longer. Morning, fellows. No society and civilization has ever outlived glory without defining leaders. Please, notably Abraham in US, Abraham Lincoln, Jesus, Muhammad, Singaporeans, example, name them, Paul Kagame. Okay, you go on and on. Strong institutions are important, but the character of a leader is even more critical, as the example of Donald Trump and the United States shows. America has strong institutions, yet we can all see how Donald Trump has managed to challenge and undermine them. Do you people know how many coaches Chelsea has had? Okay.
But they,
But we
but
won Champions
Chelsea, the stability at Chelsea was the owner. So my argument is that a strong personality, nonetheless, because Chelsea, it was Abramovich,
He actually
and in his
controlled
exit, I think they are struggling
Since
because
he left in 2000 and what?
yeah,
It's COVID,
since he left, I don't think Chelsea has been the same. The new ownership, if I can't recognize the players,
The money service still with the Brits. They
I
still
don't
have
even
a
know
relation.
who the players of Chelsea are.
Yeah, I mean, we have some people. The last time Bedu Ashile was playing for some other team.
But they are Chile.
But they, something.
So even you don't know the players.
No.
There we are.
Yeah, but Bernard, I think an important matter came up having to do with the Accra Mall area.
What's happening there?
You see, for a long time, we've not been able to determine in whose jurisdiction that whole enclave falls, because there's the Kwashi roundabout. We are told that people are somewhere, the Ayawaso is somewhere, Westford gone, Chaka be like that. We invited investors to sink their money to build this edifice mall, which people go to sell and to buy. Then for some reason, the city authorities thought that it was wise to allow people to set up their own market square along that whole enclave, competing with what should ordinarily be sold inside the mall. That place used to be very beautiful, and we celebrated the construction of this mall and then also the redevelopment of the interchange. But what do we see there now? Where we have the greens, which ideally should be left cut properly one of the things you should see that should inspire you to go and do good work when you're coming into the city to work. People have occupied that space with all kinds of things, and they have set up stalls, and they are selling everything you can think of. I mean, why should we continue to do this to our city? And there are people we pay every day, and they are a risk on the road every day because people are crossing anyhow.
True.
We have an overhead bridge there, footbridge.
Charlie.
If you want to cross, that is what you use. But because we have set up a market in the middle of the road,
Oh Lord.
people are crossing anyhow because they want to go and buy, tekpeda shoe. What do you call it? Obutre, Obroni Wewu shoe there. Undercutting the market that we have built for the people to live in and to sell their wares.
Yeah.
And that is not the worst of it. Trotro stations have also emerged.
Oh Lord.
Just opposite the mall,
Behind it too.
behind it, in front of it.
Oh, Cortes.
Trotro stations are there.
Yeah.
Taxi stations are there, and long distance vehicles too.
There's a towing station there too.
I mean, how can you manage a city like this?
And the bus stop is a market.
Yes, how do you manage a space like this?
Maybe that's what we want.
No,
People urinate there. That's the worst part. And
But this for all Ghanaians.
we look better than that.
Bro.
No, maybe you are the one speaking English. Maybe the people they will like it.
Look, the University of Ghana, the premier institution that thinks
Yes.
for all of us in many ways.
Yes.
That when you are going to the university, that's where you pass.
Yeah.
Is that a reflection of what they offer us?
When you enter Legon, it's not like that.
But you see, it is not only the space within which that work is being done. It should reflect in the streets.
But that place is just 2 minutes or 5 away from the airport.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. Someone,
Some 15 minutes.
Villaggio is built there. I mean, I'm not going to go into the class society and all of that. But if people have worked hard and they have decided to buy a property worthy of their name and investment over time,
Your window early morning.
Yeah.
Somebody has opened his
Charlie-
better.
Oh, Charlie.
His better.
what a property! People have
Your $1.2
restaurants
million
on there. Some of
No, Charlie.
the people who visit Ghana to
Yeah.
see what we have to offer,
Yeah.
that's where they go to have lunch.
Can I be controversial and say maybe you are describing the visible manifestation of the problem, but the problem actually is the society that makes people who do these things think it's normal. Do you get me? So the society that creates hawkers who believe that they have a divine right to sell anywhere and that you cannot touch them. I think that's a bigger problem, right? Because you are here seeing that this is obviously not right, but maybe they don't see it. So if we don't create a cadre of people who have a certain mindset, whether from the home or from school, that this is just not the way to live. It's not even an economic issue. It's more like people. We have created a society where just the thing. People don't even see the need for it. That's why you are struggling. So that's why when the leader tries to even change it, it's like, who is he? What's he trying to do? So that's the bigger problem. It's like trying to lead people who don't see the need to be led, or who don't see the need for beauty. Some of it is like the economic situation. It has pushed them to a point where they just want to survive. Some of it is like, we don't even care. We don't even need this. All these things you are saying are just highfalutin ideas. The most important thing is that we are surviving. This is who we are. That's the problem. It's not that the city authorities, and of course, city authorities have to do their work. But you see, I always say in Ghana, leaders don't lead. They always follow. They are afraid. Because everybody's afraid of who's behind, who's coming to say whether I'm doing the right thing or wrong thing. So they look at what is popular and they do it. So it's not leaders. It's more like, Charlie, go in the flow. But the problem is, what values do you put in people that makes them see this is normal? That somebody can decide that, despite the beautiful thing that has been built here, as for me, I'll come and pack my things here and start selling just next week. That's the problem. And if we don't deal with that thing, that's the conveyor belt for the filth. The conveyor belt is a citizen who feels that he has no part in a beautified Accra. He has no benefit. That's the problem. Because when people are willing, for example, you go to a certain place, an estate community, they all paid money for the estate and they are happy to have the estate developed because they have a stake in the beauty of the place. It raises their property value. So a society where people don't feel they have a stake in anything beautiful They are either too poor, too disadvantaged, too excluded, or just poorly educated. And we have to admit it. Which is why government is important. The government has to find a way, because we are not all equal. We have different levels of money, different levels of training. But what the government must do is that give people a certain minimum level of education, minimum level of exposure. That will make them feel like this is what we are supposed to do. Other than that, you need command and control. And we know that route will not lead us anywhere. Where you say, okay, Mayor of Kumasi, if I catch you, I will beat you. That's where it has gotten to. Do you get it? And I will beat you too is not what we want. But a democracy cannot succeed if citizens are not willing to play their role. That's just the point. You see, the citizens' agency has been downplayed. The people who are doing the things you are talking about, they are human beings. The people who are bathing. Is it the mayor of Accra who goes to bath there? Is it the minister who tells them to bath there? It's the people who see there's nothing wrong with it. You see, so if you don't develop systems that can enlighten your citizens to behave in a certain way, give them a certain opportunity and a certain chance at success, and you build this type of divided society with the extreme poverty, you get it, with no social support, no social welfare, nothing. People basically are on their own, and the rest of us are building 3, 4, 5 houses. That's what you're going to create. There's no middle class. That's the society you're creating. So they've become a nuisance. But they're not supposed to be. And the political system is not focused on bridging that gap. And I'm not talking of just money, education, exposure, opportunity. Everything is segregated. It's like you've built 2 countries in one. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that's the issue. That's why it's good. If you go to heaven and bring the best leader to come and run this city, with the minds of the people who live in the city, he will fail. Or she will fail. Do you get it? I think our efforts should go more into social nets, social campaigns. So, for example, what we call social marketing. A new conversation with citizens about what it means to be a citizen of Accra. Why does urinating in the gutter not work? Yes, sir. A system that can let someone who has left university stand by the road and urinate in the open is a failed system. A system that makes somebody decide that I'll go and do number 2 on the overhead bridge. That system is a fail. You get it? So the problem is not the man doing the edification. The problem is a system that made the man think that thing is normal.
I woke up on my morning right in front of my house. Mm-hmm. Somebody has done number 2.
Oh, you don't mean
like
it.
In front of your house.
Oh, girlfriend, you don't mean this. Wow.
I was pushing my bicycle outside. I almost.
Jesus.
You see, and it's because of all the things that happen in the part of town. And I must admit, Mr. George Kwakwalote heard my call.
What did he say?
Apparently, he's a listener of the CBS.
Is this
which he doesn't miss? He knows my nickname.
You know there are 3 Kwakwalotes. Which of them?
Oh, I'm talking about Blekuma West.
Because there's
the one who's coming to inherit the headache.
But Sky, you got to advise him to. I haven't met him yet. To see his job, I think social marketing. What he needs to do is to bring people along. That's the only chance we have. Sky, if we don't, I
agree and disagree with you.
I explain. If we don't, we will never succeed.
I completely agree with you on the part of changing or about the reorientation, and it has to start from the school level, the basic level, okay, so that these people grow up. But also, we must have deterrence in existence.
Yeah,
you see. Yeah. The other time I asked you a question, which part of Accra do you know that you cannot sell in? Everybody can sell anywhere in Accra if they want to.
That's the problem.
But I know in most of the cities I have lived in,
you don't dare.
You clearly know where you can sell and where you cannot sell.
Thank you.
And I've lived in a lot of cities.
Correct.
God has been so kind. Mm-hmm. But in Accra, even I told you the other time, even the president's office, they sell there. Charlie. In front of the president's office, you can sell there freely if you want to. Yes, yeah, people do. The other time I had somebody buy water for some coppers over there.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. They bought water for the police people there. You understand? So, in this area that Richard Sky spoke about, for instance, it used to be one of the. It has been designated as a high-end neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. it is not wrong to have that because it serves a purpose.
Shashi.
Yeah, normally. No, I'm just saying even that particular enclave. But now you get there, we have built an alternative market to that there.
Without regulation.
And it's not like these people just come and lay mats on the floor and sell. No.
They build structure.
They have built it's like Cantamanto. What has happened at the Accra Mall area is basically Cantamanto.
Meanwhile,
wooden structures, they cook there, they live there.
So in this case, what could they have done? Could they have said, let's rather say that we will give you 3 days of selling and remove the thing? So they can say
you do not allow it at all.
No. What I'm saying is that there's a middle way. You can say that we will regulate selling at a place under certain conditions as a starting point. So you can say on Saturdays and Sundays, if you want to sell, this is what you have to do. When you finish, you pack your things and go. But you then clean the place. Because you have to balance the need for people to survive.
Better, you see, no. Let me tell you
it's better because you see,
hold on.
The current situation, there's no, Sky, give me a minute. The current situation, there's no relationship between the city authority and the seller. I am saying that start a process of saying, if you want to sell, we will regulate it.
I understand. You see, Bernard.
It's a start.
Listen to me. Listen, Sky, give me a minute here. You see, on the points that you just made, again, we have all been around a bit. And even within some of the assemblies here, they designate days and places. So, for instance, Mamprobi has the Tuesday market.
Correct.
Where on the street near Matters of Uganda school, just in
I know that area, all the way to Choco.
It's called a Tuesday market. So on Tuesdays, it's turned into a market. People come and sell. Everybody goes there. After that, it's done. So it's not like it doesn't exist. And the people who go to the Tuesday market, some of them have been doing business there for 30, 40 years.
Do they manage it well?
Yes. After that, they clean up and they go away.
So it means that the assembly is working.
Yes, but the point I'm making is it already exists.
So they should do the same for Accra Mall.
No. I'm just saying, look, we designate certain places. So for instance, the CBD. I've told you this. What we have termed as a CBD is basically a full-blown chaotic marketplace.
Charlie, somebody has gone to put a gas cylinder under East Legon
Where?
flyover leading to the underbridge. If they can't cook then sell. This was sent by your own friend. Yes, Sky.
Yes.
The guy put, gaze. So they put gaze with blue washing basin and a cylinder getting ready to fry something under the East Legon.
How can we live like this?
Which is why I'm saying that if you don't manage the space, the people will do what they like.
Yes.
But I don't agree with the idea that so Sky, if you keep
okay, hear me, you've made your point. Hear me.
No,
you see, so for instance, our good friend Bridget sends a message and says, you can't sell around Regimanal estates.
Which of the Regimanals?
I don't know which one she's talking about. She says you can't sell in Trasaco.
You even get into Trasaco to sell there. You can't even get
but also because they have rules.
Okay. But that's a high class society.
Yeah, but you see, it doesn't matter. The point is, I live in Dansoman. What was Dansoman supposed to be? And I always tell you, Dansoman was supposed to be a residential area for middle income families. So when you get to Dansoman, your expectation is that it has A, B, C, D. So I don't expect that on my lane, they sell cars. As usual, there's a brothel. There's a church.
Everything.
On my lane. Okay. There has to be a certain level of deterrent.
In other words.
But who says so? We put up the new interchange here, the Obetebi. Okay. We put up this. Where if you had said the municipality or the wherever it just has said that, look, from this end to this end, clearly designated, no hawking here. Okay. Sometimes there are not even signs that tell you that you can't do this here. So far as you are not telling me that I cannot be here, I will be there.
So you think that beyond what I said about the society, there also has to be some clear leadership restrictions
on
people.
We don't restrict
we are
in Accra.
too free.
We don't restrict in Accra.
We like too much.
We are very free. You see, and we tend to feel that if you are restricting a person, you are stopping that person from earning a living. No, restrictions are for a purpose, you see. And for me, I last week I got a bit upset by the fact that we tend to want to consider how those we consider the less advantaged in our society exist, and don't consider how the rest of society exists, because how you live impacts me. The same way how I live impacts you. But we tend to look at only one side of the equation. So when you talk about it, they say, "Oh, you are being insensitive."
Yeah.
No, I don't want to wake up in the morning and come and see somebody's physics in front of my house. No, that is why I need restrictions, so that I can also have peace of mind. So that person's inability to have
their rights and where yours begin.
Yeah. So we better in this city. Look, the people need to sit down again. I'm with you. The people, local government people need to sit down when it comes to Accra. Expand Accra again, and give somebody proper power.
That's the thing.
I'm not even going to say power. Give the person proper power.
The whole thing I was saying about Alex Ferguson, Sky, you need empowered leader to do the work.
And everybody should leave that person alone.
No. That what they need to do is that person should harness the legitimate tools of the state.
Yes.
To help him. So not to say I'm riding roughshod.
Yeah, but give the person power.
So that the courts are ready, the spot fines are ready. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that it's not like an arbitrary situation.
I get you.
If you try and do it on your own, then it becomes so.
Yes.
There must be a certain system where the local courts, the spot fines, all those systems are in place. So that when we start and say, don't park here, and you park, we can give you a ticket, you pay. We can take you to court, you are fined. And the judges are aware.
Yeah.
The police are aware. I think that's the only chance we can get to survive.
The last time we had an impactful, chief executive of Accra, when the place was properly constituted, was when we had Chincha in office.
Possibly, yes.
And I mean, despite the fact that some people disagree with some of the things they did, many of these things they did gave the city a certain outlook.
Yeah, that's true.
You felt that something was happening and there was a method to it, right? Unfortunately, he's become a member of parliament now. And even under the second return of John Mahama, one would have expected that with the kind of leadership he provided when he was in charge of Accra as competently put together, he would have been given something.
He's old, maybe.
No,
he was on CNN last week.
He's speaking the old still have wisdom. And their wisdom is necessary, blended with what they use.
He has experience. No two ways. I mean, no two ways.
You see, imagine if
since he left, the thing has become some way.
Exactly. Look at what we are living with.
It's true. And when he was there, we used to criticize him a lot.
Yes.
He used to be called into radio shows.
Yes.
But now you can see he's not there because he will not allow certain things.
Exactly.
He will not.
But there is no consequence for anything. You see, we drove from Kigali all the way to a place called Gishari.
Tomorrow I'll let you do your Rwanda Chronicles from you.
And you see, I noticed two things, two different
Where
cities.
did you go, by the way?
So 2 different cities in the east, right? So you were in Kigali and then you were in Kenya, Nairobi, Embu, to be precise.
Thank
Embu looks more like Accra.
Okay.
Very dirty and nasty and all that.
Oh.
Then you will see on their highways, speed kills. Speed thrills, but it kills. This is Nairobi. Then in Kigali, you just see the road sign, and then you see the camera, and that's the end of it.
That's the conversation you have.
Don't try.
The camera will talk to you.
60. If you go above 60 kilometers, you are getting fined, and right away it is happening.
Wow.
If you go past a number of them, a police will be somewhere, and they will get to know.
Wow.
So it's the system.
They are not asking you for. They are not asking for 5
they are not advising you.
The Ghana
They are
police.
not. They are not
saying your boys are here.
They are not telling you that speed.
But this guy, if police are telling your boys are here, how can you enforce speed? You see, the problem we have
it's a weekend.
It's a moral problem.
It's a weekend.
I'm driving home and the policeman says, "Hey, officer, nah, weekend, you
are home." Bro.
You get me? And I'm like, you are in a uniform. You're asking me for money.
Susu and I met city guards on Friday. We were busy extorting trotro drivers.
How are you going to build any system of development around such nonsense?
They were busy extorting trotro drivers in their black and white. And then
so we are not ready for development. We just want to sing and clap and go to heaven. That's what we will do.